Awesome. Good morning, guys. Good morning. So for today, just reading some reports this morning. Was reading some AMD earnings, Lyft, Uber, Airbnb, Starbucks. Mixed reactions all across the board. We'll go over that in a little bit. But today, as you guys know, we do have FOMC. So you know, I think it will be a smart decision to wait until late end of day, and that too, playing small because volatility will be there, right? You don't want to be going in full size into FOMC. Sometimes the move that may happen today, tomorrow may be opposite, and tomorrow it follows through. Friday may be opposite, and Monday so on. Right, the direction will be clear more into next week, but just be careful. The only thing we know for now on SPX is that we can see is that we are at strong support level, right? We cannot ignore this support level. We went over this yesterday. We'll go over this again. So even if FOMC, you guys see if Powell's more dovish or hawkish, depending on his tone, I think the market will react more. 50 basis, right? 50 BPS. That's already priced in. I think market is expecting that. They know it. But if 75 comes in, market may react negatively to it. Obviously, we may break them further lower and go test these supports at 3,800, 3,900. And if they do announce 50 BPS, the sentiment is that we go higher. And then in the coming weeks, we see which side we go to again. Because then again, the normal economic outlook will kick in again, right? But for now, we are holding critical support level. It's very hard to play these levels with FOMC this week. If there was no FOMC, I would personally do some in the money spreads, buy in the money calls, sell out of the money calls, and play accordingly, right? But with FOMC on the way, got to be very, very careful, right? There's no need to rush into anything. The market will always be here. So let's see what we have. And one thing that I do want to mention, that we have our volatility trigger level, which has fallen 100 points. So what does that mean? I'm just going to write this down here for you guys. So our volatility trigger from 4,400 has now shifted to 4,300, where dealers will make their decisions. So if the market does end up going towards 4,300, which is 100 points from our current level, a little bit more, for at 4,300, dealers will see what to do. Do we keep the market below 4,300, or do they flip the switch and then we go higher above 4,300? So 4,300 will be a very strong resistance. A hold above, we can obviously base further to the upside. All right, and then we do have supports, all these levels that we have. Basically, if you guys just draw your daily charts, you guys will see all the levels, right? And so if I go on the daily, our support levels, I'll just quickly go over with you guys. We have, based on the traders, and these gamma levels that we have, guys, they are based on options interest. These are levels based on data, right? One is drawing your own levels, going on an hourly, 2 hourly, 4 hour, depending on whatever time frame you use. One is those levels. One is the option open interest levels, right? And those all option interest levels will be closer to those hardcore support and resistance levels. But for today, 4,200 will be tough. If we continue holding below 4,200 by the end of the day, then that might even be bearish. So let's see, we can definitely break further. It all comes down to Powell, what he speaks, right? But the levels we have is 4,150, 4,100, 4,200, and then we have the implied volatility towards 4,225, and obviously all the way towards 4,300. Right? Can we get to 4,300 today? It's absolutely possible. Can we break 4,100 today? It's absolutely possible. So which way? No idea. Wait and watch and save your cash. That's it, right? Some earnings that we have. AMD beat their earnings. Good earnings, actually great earnings, right? And good comments. But for now, it's up pre-market at 9,797. But again, the stock was trading at just 165, 170 not too long ago. Right now, it's trading under 100. Right, so the stock did go up on earnings. I think if the market stays strong, we can, our first target that we can get is roughly around this, the 200 MA, the red line, AMD towards 200 MA, and then we see what happens. If the market is weak and from based on FOMC, then obviously we can give up all gains, and then we see what happens. Do we hold this support or do we break it in the coming weeks? And if the comments are success, if market is more dovish and Powell says good things, market rips, then obviously 200 MA, 105, 106, we should base above it and then continue higher, right? But that again, it depends on the comments. Lyft absolutely got destroyed yesterday after hours, and then Uber reacted to this earnings as well, right? The Uber also reacted to this earnings, and basically what happened was Uber flushed down. Uber's earnings were today post hours, so basically what they did when they saw their reaction on Lyft, because it would have obviously piled onto Uber today during the day before earnings, Uber probably would have flushed all day. So they announced their earnings this morning. They probably knew their earnings were strong, which they were, much better than Lyft, with some good comments, right? Lyft obviously The earnings were fine, but they guided lower. Any company that lowers their guidance or their outlook, market is going to sell them off, right? How are you going to tell somebody, oh, okay, so we were expecting this, but now we're going to cut down that target, right? So all those things matter, and now Lyft is at a very strong support level. If we break these levels, if we go on the weekly chart, or not the, okay, let's just go on the monthly, it's even better. I'll go on the weekly, actually will be a better view. Yep. So based on the weekly on Lyft, our first support, currently we are there. We must hold this support. Lyft can actually run all day. Today, there's a possibility that they buy Lyft all day, right? There's a good possibility they can buy Lyft back towards 26, 27 bucks. So if you're looking to buy the dip, I think Lyft will be it. And then you would keep your stop right here, lows of 21.34 of 26th October 2020, right? 21.34 should be your stop out, but it can probably run. It's a very strong support level, right? Uber, muted reaction on earnings, is not up, it's not down, a few percent, much better than Lyft, right? Even though it's still down. But Uber is also at a very strong support level. Similar chart patterns on Uber and Lyft, obviously same industry, they move about the same. And let's see if it holds this support. And right now it's going to open below it, but we need to recover. If the market is weak, then Uber can actually see a bigger downside move than Lyft. Compared to Lyft in the coming days, Uber can probably see a much lower move. Remember that. Right? The major support is now at 20 bucks, which is another 30% cut on Uber stock if the market falls. All right. Airbnb, great earnings, great numbers, right? I think I'll be posted all the details on this. Shit, I removed all my indicators. Got that. And now I gotta add them back. But anyways, on Airbnb, it's up right now. It's not up a lot. They beat their earnings. They gave some strong numbers, right? Their forecast, they also think will do great. But for now, it's up here, and it's just in no man's land, right? It all comes down to FOMC again. On FOMC day, very important. This is a no man's land on Airbnb, basically. At these levels, if you guys look back, it's a no man's land. A lot of supply and demand in these areas, right? A lot of supply and demand in these areas. Let's see what happens. And Starbucks also, they didn't even give their guidance. They suspended their guidance. They don't know. Right now, they're facing a lot of costs with their workers, right? Obviously, with the way the inflation has gone. But this one stock, I will let you guys know right now. If we go on the monthly chart, this is going to be a steal in the coming months, right? For your long-term account, this is one of the best stocks out there. One of my favorite stocks, right? This is a very strong support level between 70 and 60. This would be one of the stocks in the market that I would scale into my equity position. Nothing big, nothing crazy, just a very small position. Guys, make sure you guys like the video, alright? Please and thank you. So a small scale in here on equity. My next scale in would be right here above these levels, which is roughly 55. So my first scale in would be here. My second scale in would be here, and then I wait for a few months. This is for a long term, not a trade. Okay, this is a long term equity trade. All right. I would buy here at these levels, which I think in the coming months is very possible. But my first skill in would be here if the market does bottom here by any chance and we see higher, right? So Starbucks is a very, very attractive stock right now, in my opinion. All right, this company is amazing. It usually grows long term, and I think it's going to continue growing. But this year is a chance to pick up some Starbucks equity. And again, guys, it all comes down to FOMC, I think. There's not much for me to speak or say until we hear from the FOMC, right? Because a lot of things will be based on their comments. Like, not whatever I say now, I can only draw support and resistance levels, which most of you guys know. But just pay attention. And G Money, I'm going to tell you something. On SPX, there's something called ES on Hyro. ES is combined SPY and SPX. What you want to see is, I'm going to draw a scenario for you here. I know you know these things, but I'm just going to draw them out for you anyways. If you see the stock takes a dip, all right, if you see the stock's taking a dip around 2 o'clock, okay, the stock is taking a dip, but you see the deltas on the options, you see the deltas are, maybe they dip and then they start increasing. If the deltas shift higher than 0, all right, pay attention to the right side, and they continue positive and they continue going positive, look for strong support levels. At the end of the day, there will be a nice van out rally. All right, if I'm going to show you something else now. If the stock continues going down, and the deltas are under 0, and the deltas are also following the stock, that means the dealers are selling this, people are buying puts, they're going to cause more downside, and the move to the downside will be violent. All right, and by any chance, if the option deltas continue going lower, and you see that the stock has come lower and is going up. It's going up. What you want to see here is that the calls should be sold here on these pops, and then puts should not either flatten out, and then when they turn the downturn again on puts, this will be sell the rip scenario. All right, this will be sell the rip scenario. There was 7-8 different scenarios that work, but these are the two that I'll give you for now. I know you know these probably because you watched it a lot now, but good luck. Wish you all the best. I'll see you guys back in the chat.